I did want to mention Black History Month because here we are in the shortest month of the year. Don't get me started on that. But we're in a time in our country and in our world where we're actually making things happen. And we've got some momentum here. We've got some momentum really all over in the Black Lives Matter movement, in civil rights, racial justice, equal opportunity for all in our country. And we've got to celebrate Black History Month. And I thought the best way to do it here today was not only talk to you about birthdays this month, because there are quite a few pretty significant birthdays, but sports pioneers, those that broke the color barrier in sports. You know, every year on April 15th, I talk about Jackie Robinson. It's Jackie Robinson Day officially in Major League Baseball that day. Everybody wears his number 42. His number was retired. He's in the Hall of Fame. In 1947, he broke into the white major leagues. He had been playing in the Negro Leagues. He broke into the white major leagues in 1947. The year before that, Bill Willis was the first black man to play in the NFL. In the NBA, it was 1947, same year Jackie Robinson did it. Wataru Misaka was the first non-white player to play professional basketball. Earl Lloyd, the next 2 years later, was the first black player in the NBA. In the NHL, Willie O'Ree, 1958. NCAA football in 1890. George Jewett at the University of Michigan. In men's basketball, Paul Robeson at Rutgers, Wilbur Wood, Nebraska, Fenwick Watkins at the University of Vermont, Cumberland Posey at Penn State, all college basketball stars right before World War I playing in white major college programs. In NCAA women's basketball, Lucia Harris at Delta State, 1974. That doesn't seem that long ago. NCAA baseball, Moses Fleetwood Walker at the University of Michigan in 1880. 1880, 10 years before George Jewett did it at the University of Michigan. And in softball, Betty Chapman became the first black woman to play professional softball in 1951. We want to honor those not just in sports, but in the world, in our country, and continue to use our voices, share our platforms, and be active and be the change here in our country to bring equal rights, to get rid of systemic racism, and continue to move forward in our hopes of finding a better balance in our country. Some of the birthdays this month that are significant: Rosa Parks, Michael Jordan, Chris Rock, Dr. Dre, The Weeknd, Jordan Peele, Rihanna, Ja Rule, Erykah Badu, Trevor Noah, Charles Barkley, Birdman, Megan Thee Stallion, Brandy, Kimbo Slice, Ice-T. One of my favorites. I've seen him so many times live. He's such a good show. He's an actor now, too. And Michael B. Jordan, just to name a few. And I wanted to recognize those that have been pioneers and really freedom fighters. We talk about Muhammad Ali all the time. We talk about Jackie Robinson even more than that, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. And it means something to continue to remind people of who these folks were and are in our history and in our memory and in our hearts. And Colin Kaepernick is one that will join that list, and is joining that list in my mind, but I think will historically be one of those guys that we look back on who really shifted the culture, shifted the landscape, and sacrificed his own career to make a difference in the world of sports and in our country when it comes to the civil rights movement, the NBA, the WNBA. It's really been... 2020 was a horrible year for so many things. But one of the things that comes out for me of last year, from the travesty, from the horrific murder of George Floyd on the streets, live on camera in front of all of us. My mom always said, and it's kind of a weird thing, that you can find a blessing in even the worst thing. And George Floyd will be that person. His name will come up when our discussion is focused on what happened in 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement. And the activity and the listening that white people have to do, but then also to step up and help be the change, because black people can't do it without us. Listen, learn. If you see something, do something. If you hear something, say something, just being active and being the change in your own little community. We're not going to go out one person and change the world, but collectively we can do a lot. And celebrating Black History Month all month long here on the CJ Silas Show is something we're going to do. This week, I wanted to talk about the pioneers and we talked about Hank Aaron last week and the difficulty that these folks, men and women, went through, the struggles that they dealt with, and the challenges and the mental anguish and the heart pain and the sadness and the fear being the first or one of the few first to go out there in a place where people didn't want you. People didn't accept you. People were repelled by you. People were abusive and disrespectful and degrading. And these are the names: Jackie Robinson, Bill Willis, Wataru Misaka, Earl Lloyd, Willie O'Ree, George Jewett, Paul Robeson, Wilbur Wood, Fenwick Watkins, Cumberland Posey, Lucia Harris, Moses Fleetwood Walker, Betty Chapman, and more. Those are the ones that we found today on the CJ Silas Show that we want to continue to say their names this time every year as a way to honor, as a way to lift up, as a reminder, and also information for people that didn't know. Young people, not everyone knows everything. Our educational system is definitely damaged in this country. And so we here at the CJ Silas Show are just going to do our best to do a little of our own Black History Month celebration for sure.